Yeah. Miracles come while we in the fight. Don't give up and hold him tight. You will have a visible battle scar, but never forget who you are and fight, fight, fight.
Hello, and welcome to Embracing the Fight. I am Erica Lamar, your digital creator and host. And if you've been following me since the first week of January, you'll understand what Embracing the Fight is all about. It is the best way to come in, make it easy for a person to talk about their physical and mental health issues and concerns without judgment, because you would be amazed at the level of ignorance, for lack of a better term, when it comes to people with illnesses and the things that they actually have to deal with. Um, I talk about my journey through thyroid cancer, but people have come to me, and told me some pretty interesting things. And I actually heard something pretty interesting today myself. There was a certain person that was actually having to go out on FMLA, and they were going to need to start trying to draw short-term disability. The conversation quickly changed when the person started to state what the actual pain or illness stemmed from. As long as it was assumed that the person harmed themselves, outside of a place of business rather than at the place of business, the conversation, becomes totally different. If you harm yourself at work, then you have the opportunity to seek workman's compensation benefits. And that's basically, where the company takes care of you because of an injury or accident or illness that happened directly to you at work. So when we were talking about it, I don't want to, really call anyone out for anything, but one of the people actually said that the person, if they try to turn it into a work related injury, that they were going to put in for grounds of termination. And it's like, where's the compassion? Don't you really want to know where the person was harmed? Even though initially a person may or may not tell you that they're hurt at work because they're afraid that maybe they did something wrong, maybe something that was unsafe. All right. And they don't necessarily tell the truth. I'm not saying that's the right thing. I'm just saying this is what may happen. Or they didn't report in a timely manner, and that can also get them in trouble as well. So then the person started to weigh their options after they talk to a physician. The physician asks so many questions, and after they get to the root cause, of what the pain, the issue, the injury is, then sometimes it points back to work. And then it becomes a pretty sticky situation, especially if you don't have any documentation and you're the manager and you don't know, exactly what transpired, with this person. But at the same time, this is all about what Embracing the Fight is about. So if you're listening and you are at a place of business and you cut your arm, report it. Even if it's a small cut, because you never know. You could get bacteria or something in this cut and you could have issues from it, weeks, months down the road. And at least you would have had, some way to record to say what exactly happened to you. Just going to someone telling them what happened doesn't carry as much weight as actually having the documentation. So if you become ill at work, you make sure you report that as well, depending on what your profession is. Like if you're a nurse and you're dealing, with a whole lot of, say, COVID patients, and you end up, getting COVID. Well, you can record that or report that as well, and you can be assisted with your medical compensation potentially, depending on what parameters that your company policy has or what your insurance says for. So I'm not saying that every time something happens to you that you should just blame it all on work. That is not what I'm saying. What I'm saying is if it genuinely, truly happens to you at work, make sure that you have a record of when it happened. Make sure that you report it to your direct manager. Make sure you do it in writing. Make sure you keep a copy of it yourself, because that helps to cover you when any type of investigative measures are taken. Because they really do have to investigate any workman's compensation incidents, accidents, anything like that. You just have to make sure you have your documentation. Okay. But that's not what today's show is all about. I just felt like I needed to voice that because of what I was hearing, when it comes to FMLA, a person has the right to file for FMLA. Now, FMLA only holds a job at the facility or the place of employment. It doesn't hold the exact job. It holds that particular space for you to come back to, say, that facility and work. Or it's going to be a job that's to what equal or more than what you're making, now. So you can't come back, you can't like say go out as a mechanic and come back as a laborer, because those, two pricing schedules are totally different. Okay. And the other thing is, if you need money while you're out on FMLA, you have to file for short-term disability. And also, I don't know if you all know about supplemental, insurance, and that's like Aflac. And my sister was actually, talking to me about it a little bit, and it makes sense. So the way Aflac or supplemental insurance works, it pays you a certain amount for the time that you're actually unable to work. For instance, if you choose, say, a cancer policy, and you are paying $50 a month for that policy, and say you actually end up with cancer. So say you're out of work for 2 weeks, they might come back and pay you $450 a day for every day, that you're out. And then they also will give you, some additional when it comes to your medications or your treatment, that's required, not just the surgery and the hospital stay, but all the things, after, like the aftercare, especially if you need someone to transport you back and forth, to the hospital, or a caregiver to come to your home if it's just you, by yourself. So it's important to research these things, while you're healthy, though, because you can't get like the supplemental insurance or Aflac or anything when you've already been diagnosed with a particular thing. So it's kind of a catch-22, I guess, because it's better that you have it and don't need it than not have it and need it, because you make what you make, especially if you are working for yourself. Like if you're self-employed and you actually have to go out and work each and every day, well, can't work if you're sick, can't work if you've been in an accident or an incident. The money has to come from somewhere, right? So instead of having to file bankruptcy, or instead of having to rob Peter to pay Paul, or having to go out and get some astronomical loan, or having to dip into your say your IRA, your 401k, your savings. If you don't want to dip into those things, then supplemental insurance may be for you. All right. And the other thing, that you can do, you can look at the clauses in your health insurance and see what they have available there for you as well. And when I say clauses, what I'm talking about is there are some health insurance companies that offer, say, non-ambulatory transport. So that's like, say you're a caregiver for one of your family members, and you have to go to work. You have something that you have to do, and this person needs to be transported, to a doctor's visit. Well, in order to get them there, you think, oh, I gotta pay somebody to come pick them up. I gotta do XYZ, or I gotta take off and actually lose money, to take them. Well, there are clauses within your health insurance that may say that it provides so much money towards non-emergency ambulatory transport. So what that means is someone will come to their home, take them to their doctor's appointment, pick them up, and take them back home to make sure that they got there safely. And then, too, if say you're a caregiver and you need a weekend off, there are clauses in the insurance that will provide an in home nurse, a person for 48 hours. So you can utilize that benefit. You need to look at your insurance or the person that you're caring for. You need to understand and look at their insurance to know exactly what's available to you. Because think about it, you're paying all this money for it. It's not just for when you go to the doctor. There are other things that your health benefits allow for. So take the time to actually read those and check it out. So let me get into, really what I wanted to talk about today, because even though those issues, are equally pressing, there's something else, that I want to talk about that affects you both physically and mentally. And what I want to talk about is expiration. All right, so let's talk about expiration from a physical standpoint. So I know a lot of people that are listening, you probably take medication. And if you take, certain medications like you're supposed to, then you'll notice that on your bottle of medication, it has the expiration date. You shouldn't use it, after this time, because you never know what side effects it could have. You never know, what impact it could have on your body. Sure, you got those conspiracy theorists out there that believe that drug companies put those expirations on there so you have to throw them away and buy more. That way they make more money, whether you use your medication or not, because you're going to say, oh, this is expired, I need to throw this away. No, if you know anything about chemistry, you know that certain bonds begin to break down after so long. Certain minerals, elements have a certain shelf life in a sense. So you can't just have a bottle of Tylenol for 10 years. I mean, I've seen it. I've seen people do it. And then they wonder why other things are hurting, like why they have a problem with their liver or why they have a problem, with their gallbladder or oh, they're starting to see stars and stuff like that. It's like, wait a minute, this medicine is 10 years old. You need to throw it away. So what I want you to do is go in your medicine cabinet and take a look. So I did, right? And I'm almost embarrassed to show what I had in there, as far as what I had to throw away. And, hindsight's 2020, I should have taken a picture of it. What it was I had bought all these Goalie gummies and these, well, there's a red bottle and there's a blue bottle. One of them is like the apple cider vinegar, and then the other one that's like a calming pill, or not really a calming pill, but a calming gummy that you chew that helps you to calm down, helps you to relax, helps you to go to sleep. So I don't even know how that stuff works. I never even opened one bottle. So I threw away 8 of those because it was an 8-pack. Man, those Goalie gummies, I did even worse. I had like 12 of those that I threw away. And then I was looking, I saw some vitamin C. The vitamin C was like 6 years old. I was like, what am I doing? Why am I buying all these vitamins? And I'm not following through with this. And let me tell you one more thing. It's so sad to say. I bought some boxes of the GNC vitamins, the whole woman like multivitamin. You tear the pack open, it's like maybe 8 to 10 pills in there. I was going strong, taking those every day, every day. And then when I had my thyroid surgery, they told me to stop taking them because, of the fish oil that was there. And, fish oil has some similar anticoagulating properties like the Eliquis I was taking, or the Xarelto, I believe, at the time that I was taking. And it's like, no, you can't take that. You're going to have surgery too. So you got to stop anything that has any type of blood thinning or anticoagulating properties. So stop taking them in, and I just never started back. Well, good thing was I was able to share them, with my aunt because they haven't expired. I checked the date on them, and I gave it to her so she could try them out to see if they would help her, feel better, feel stronger. And last time I spoke to her, she was saying she felt like she had more energy. She was able to clean more and do some other things. So I felt like, I didn't wait till those expired, to get rid of them. I actually gave him a gift. But I need to go in and cancel that subscription because I still got 4 boxes of those things, and that's 4 months, worth. But either way, I need to find something that I want to take, that I like to take, that I remember to take. Now, when it comes down to that levothyroxine, the Eliquis, and the hydrochlorothiazide, I take those first thing in the morning, and that's it. Sure, that you probably sitting there saying, well, why don't you take the vitamin with it? Well, the reason I don't take the vitamin with it is because it will have an adverse effect on the levothyroxine and also on hydrochlorothiazide. And I'll have to take it, later on in the day. Just like you can't just take calcium with this stuff because it has, negative effects. So no, I can't take it at the same time. If I could do that, I've been doing that from the beginning. I wouldn't have to throw all this stuff away. So it's just a matter of consistency, I guess, with taking medication, because I've never been one to really like to take medication. I like to self-medicate basically with food, like with herbs, with things that I can eat, not things that I have to take, even though, eating and taking is all the same. You put it in your mouth, you drinking something behind it. So it's not like, it's not like I'm injecting myself with anything. I am, consuming the pill, but I want to consume the food because I like the way the food tastes. Okay, if that makes sense. So I'm challenging you to take a moment to go look in your medicine cabinet and see what's expired in there. Don't be afraid to get rid of that stuff. Because I didn't even know that, some natural shampoos and things of that nature have expiration dates. So I had to throw a bunch of that stuff away too. Because I guess, maybe it could have some type of chemical reaction on your scalp, and then your hair is falling out, and then you turn over the bottle's 10 years old. Because I'll just be honest, with natural hair, you have to try a lot of different things until you can get the curl pattern that you desire. But in my case right now, I'm just wearing braids because I got tired of dealing with it, because it seems like when I'm in different climates or different places, my hair changes. So when I'm in Florida, it's like extremely dry and wiry. I go home to Georgia and I wash my hair is curly and plush and soft. I go to Alabama, same thing. Hair is curly, plush, and soft. Florida is like, nope, we're going to be, a Brillo pad over here. And there's nothing sexy about a Brillo pad on your head. All right, so do that for me. Go in and just start randomly turning things over and see what's expired in your medicine cabinet. And that's just from a physical standpoint. Now let's talk about expirations from the mental standpoint. Have you ever had anybody to come into your life and you felt like they were the best friend or the best lover, best teacher? I mean, they were just the best of something in your life. But then as you continue to grow and as you continue to change, those people stay the same. They were letting you know that they had reached a level of expiration in your life. And if you noticed, if you held on to them, not only did they expire, but they started to drag you back down, or they started to bring you back to where you were, because they were constantly reminding you of the point you were at when you were with them. That type of expiration needs to be removed completely. Sure, you probably are sitting there saying, well, this person's my friend, or they're my this, or they're my that. I understand you can have, long-term friends, but you have to notice whether or not they're growing with you or they're making you be stagnant. Let me give you an example. So say if I were to come home every day and do nothing but complain about my job. Oh, I hate my job. Oh, I can't stand people. And say I'm telling this to a friend that helped me to get this job, right? And all they do is remind me of, well, you remember when you didn't have a job, and now you have one and you're able to afford, all these things. But they're not hearing the pain and the suffering that you're dealing with now from the job they helped you get. They're just still at that level of, I helped you get this job. You need to keep this job because if you do not have this job, you don't have these things around you. But little do they know, there's a whole world out there that's full of things that you can do, that you can try, that don't cause you the pain, that don't cause you the heartache, that doesn't make you wake up dreading going to work every day. But you have to realize that you give yourself the freedom to do those things and you don't owe them anything for helping you get a job. Now, I'm not saying burning bridges when a person helps you get a job. I'm saying once you get that job and you feel like you've outgrown it, or you feel like you don't fit in that particular job, it's okay to move on to find another job, onto something bigger or better. You thank them for their help, of course, because this was a place of transition. You are meant to stay there. So that's something that I think a lot of people don't really think about. Jobs expire. And once they expire, you got to be ready to transition. You can't sit there and grieve and mourn all the things that you weren't able to do or you couldn't do or you were restricted, from doing because maybe somebody didn't like you or they felt you weren't ready for it or you didn't have the confidence to step out on it. Whatever it is or whatever it was, just because you don't have it there doesn't mean you won't have it somewhere else. Or hey, look at it like this. What if you start a business, right? Sure, you can keep the job that you have while you're starting a business so you can pay your bills and stuff. But just imagine what it'll be like when you start to soar, when everything starts coming together. Is that person who helped you find that job going to come there and say, oh, no, you shouldn't do this. This is not, safe. If you start a business, you could lose everything. You could do this, you could do that. You have those people that think that you are only at a certain level, but that's not true. You are as great as you believe that you are. You can't let people and things that have inspired in your life dictate how your life goes forward. So start doing mental inventory. Start looking at the people that come into your life that bring joy, that encourage, that lift you up, that help you. Sure, you might be that person for someone. I'm not saying if there's somebody out there that you're helping, that you're trying to get, to the next level, that you're trying to push forward, I'm not saying give up on them. No. I'm saying it's those folks that's trying to hold you right where you are because that's the only thing that they know you as. And that's not your fault because they don't know the greatness that's inside of you. What I'm saying is trust yourself. Trust the greatness in you. Chase that, follow that, go after that. And all those things that have expired in your life, throw them away. Ease away from them. Get away from them. Because if not, you're going to look back at your life and you're going to say, hey, I could have been so much more if I had tried this. But the whole time you were trying to try this, you had that person on your shoulder tapping you saying, hey, that ain't safe. You're going to lose everything. Don't do it. If you look at some of the most rich people in the world, they'll tell you they either A, went through some form of tragedy or loss, and B, once they got through that tragedy or loss, they were projected, propelled, lifted, shifted to something so much greater. Not because these people who were down here were still holding on to them. No, it's because they had people that were with them, pushing them along the way. Think about it like this. Imagine if Oprah had just said, I'm not worth anything because of all the things that happened to her when she was a child. Or if Maya Angelou had said the same thing. Imagine if they hadn't taken all the things that happened and started to project them out into the world. What would have happened if Oprah wasn't Oprah or if Maya Angelou wasn't Maya Angelou? Think about it. Oprah brought people on her show and their lives changed. The words that Maya Angelou spoke, that she wrote, life-changing. Imagine if somebody had come to both of them and say, you know what? No, 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 no. Women who have been sexually assaulted are not worth anything. And they believed it. Thank God that they did not believe. Because now we see the greatness, the legacy that they'll leave behind. And I know during that process, there were some people, there were some jobs, there were some medicines, like I was talking about earlier. There were things that expired in their life, and they were not afraid to transition. So after something expires, you have to transition. Just like life. Think about it. When you die, you transition. You don't transition before you die, you transition after you die. At least that's my understanding, my thought, my feeling, because I feel like when it's over here, you transition to be with the Father. That's what I mean. Okay. So once everything is said and done, everything has expired physically, mentally, spiritually. I want to know, where is your soul going to go? And I've been very clear. I trust and love God. And I plan to spend eternity, with Him. Now, is my life perfect? No. Mm-mm. Do I do everything right? No, I don't. I make lots of mistakes. And I have times where I wonder, why in the heck did I do that? But you know what? I know that I serve a God that is merciful, one that loves me, loves you, He loves us all. So why not attach yourself to Him, knowing that when you expire, you can spend the rest of eternity with Him? It's just a thought. I know it's difficult for people to express these sorts of things because the love of God is being muffled more and more in our society. So I'm asking you that you hold God close, put Him in your heart, believe in Him, trust Him, and know that all things work together for the good of those who love the Lord and are called to His purpose. Thank you again, y'all, for watching Embracing the Fight. I truly appreciate the time that you take out to watch this, especially all the kind messages I received while I was in the hospital and all the encouraging words that I get in my inbox. You have no idea, what it does and how much it makes me want to continue to do this show. So I ask that if you haven't subscribed, take a moment to go to YouTube and look up Embracing the Fight, select the subscribe button, click the videos, like them, and share. I want my message to get out to as many people as possible, and I can only do it with your help. Thank you for helping me embrace the fight. Have an absolutely amazing day.